Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, and this time it's a properly evil, scary wand build. So this is Bellatrix Lestrange's wand. So it's quite different to most normal wands. Whereas I'd normally be turning the initial shape on a wood turning lathe, here I've got a big chunk of teak and I've just got the actual scale, the drawing, onto a piece of transfer paper, and I'm just using a centre punch, just punching holes all the way around the drawing, and that then transfers that shape onto the piece of wood, and then I can join up the lines to make the actual correct scale and shape onto the piece of wood. And I know it's really annoying, everyone always says it, but if you could please like and subscribe, that would be amazing. It would really help the channel out, thank you. And here you can see I'm just joining up the sort of holes with the lines and then transferring it to my bandsaw. And here, if you do this style of sort of wand, you don't want to cut too close to the lines. You want to give yourself quite a bit of space, because obviously it's going to be much thinner than this eventually when you actually chop all the wood away. So you want to leave a bit of sort of sneeze room in case you get it a bit wrong. So cut a few millimeters away from it, and then you can sort of scrape that away with rotary tools in the future after. And here, just to get the side profile of the wand a little bit thinner, I'm just running it through the bandsaw as well, just taking off the edges just to get it a little bit thinner. So it's thin at the very tip and then thicker towards the handle. And then on to the next process. So this is really eating the material down. So this isn't this isn't from woodworkers, this is where they would turn off. But this is not the recommended way of using an angle grinder, but it works so well. If you get a flat disc or a sanding disc, it eats wood away really nicely. You can just sort of take a piece off here, have a look at it, take another bit of, yeah, it's starting to look alright, and you can just slowly work into it, and it's a way of removing material relatively quickly while still being in control of it. And then there are certain parts where the shaft of the wand meets the handle. I didn't feel comfortable using the grinder for that because it's not the most delicate tool. So I just wanted to go back in and use a craft knife just to eat away the edge and to create the perfect edge between the shaft and the handle. Whilst we're on this point, I just want to say thank you so much to the person that commissioned this wand. They've commissioned several wands from me, and I cannot say how thankful I am. Thank you so much. Now, this next process on the wand is basically, I've taken it from the big lump of wood I had and machined it down with the grinder, and then here I'm just starting to take more and more material off with the sort of rotary tool. So it's exactly the same sort of process. It's where you have to keep looking at reference photos, because if you don't, your brain, without you realising, starts to go, oh, I'll just do this and that, and then you actually finish the wand and you look at it compared to the picture and you think, that looks nothing like it. So with this, just remember, you have to keep looking at your reference photos, and here I'm just taking a bit more away, then offering it up to the photo, thinking, right, yeah, that one, the handle, sorry, looks about the right thickness, and then take a little bit more away and you actually no, it looks better now. And you're just always just creeping up on it, as they say. You're just creeping up, taking a little bit more off of the handle, checking the shape, a little bit more off of the point here where the shaft meets the handle. You're always just making sure that it is right and that you're not sort of using artistic license without realising. On the rotary tool here, the bit I'm using is actually a sanding drum, and it's just basically you do get through a lot of sanding drums doing it, but it's a much smoother. I have got carbide bits that you can eat away a lot, but here I just wanted to, as I said, creep up on it and just take off little bits and just keep the surface of the material smooth. And then that makes it much easier on this process of sanding. So here I go in with 120, 240 and then 360 grit sandpaper just to get a really nice smooth surface. The next process. this is properly good fun. It's the whole weathering sort of process. So the reference photos I had, it shows you Bellatrix's wand. It's all gnarly and cracked up on the edges. It also has runes all the way down the handle. So those are what I now had to go back in. So it's basically using different rotary tool bits, diamond bits, whichever part I could find that would fit nicely and make the correct shape, I would then work back in. And here you can see I'm just doing the cracks and the grooves down the handle just to make it look nice and gnarly. It's one of those strange things where I make my wands out of wood, but I smooth them off so much and paint them in acrylics that I have to actually make them look like wood, even though they are technically made of it. So here I'm just putting, like I say, all the cracks and the gnarly bits and the grain of the wood back into it. So this section is now doing the runes or the sort of patterns along the handle, which are really, really satisfying when you do them. It's again trying to work out, you sort of go through the rotary tool bits that you've got and yep, that was a bit too small, no, yeah, that's the right size, and you just try to, exactly the same as I said before, you make sure you look at your reference photos and you just make sure that the runes you're doing are the same size. And then it goes on to painting. So here I'm using Dale & Rowney System 3 acrylics, and this is burnt umber paint, just to get a nice really dark sort of undercoat for the wand. I never seem to learn in these wand builds either. I always paint myself into a corner and end up with painted fingers, but one day I'll learn. And then the next process of painting the wand, it's dry brushing, which is a process I've used a lot before on my wands. But it's basically you dab a tiny bit of paint onto the end of the brush, you sort of scrape most of it off or blot most of it off onto a piece of paper, and then you very quickly just brush the bristles across whatever it is you're painting, and it just leaves a little bit of paint. So for example, if I was painting my hand, it would leave just on the high points just little touches of paint, so it makes the actual high points stand out a bit more. So with this I'm basically going over the entire wand, and this is in raw sienna, and then I go over the top again in a more sort of creamy colour. It's basically raw sienna with a little bit of white added just to make it stand out a little bit more, and it's just several coats. You can't really do it in one, it has to be several different layers. You can see it just makes the little cracks and the grooves in the handle stand out a lot more, and it makes it look like an aged wand as well. So the next process, this is to get the shadows into the wand, so for the patterns to really stand out. So here it's basically 50-50 mix of just black acrylic paint and water, and I just run over the entire brush, the entire wand with the brush, and that just makes all the cracks and grooves stand out. And then the last process is 2 coats of wood varnish just to seal the acrylic paint and protect the entire wand. I just want to say thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment and subscribe for more. Thank you.